Hi, I'm Adam with Let Us Try That, and today I'm going to be taking a look at the Eros Smart Body Fat Scale by Inevifit. Now, full disclosure, the company reached out to me and said that they would send me a free one if I wanted to review this product. I told them that if they wanted to send me a free one, I'd be happy to review it, but that I wouldn't make any promises. I would try it out, and then I would give my honest opinion. So, although I did receive a complimentary product, I'm not being paid to make this video, and I intend to spend some time using it so I can figure out if it's a good value. Well, before I open the box, let's just take a look at the box. So on the front, we've got a picture of the product, and of course all the stuff that they want you to believe it's highly accurate. It tells you your body composition, unlimited users, that's cool if you have multiple people in the house. And it pairs with your smartphone for tracking results, so that could be good. And if we flip it over, it has tons of different functions. Of course, a scale is going to measure your body weight, but it measures your BMI, your body fat, your fat-free body weight, so I guess what you would weigh if you were stripped of all body fat. Subcutaneous fat, that's the fat right under the skin. Visceral fat, body water, skeletal muscle, muscle mass, bone mass, protein. I don't know how a scale can possibly measure all of these things, but I guess we'll have to figure that out. So anyway, let's pop this thing open and see what we've got. It comes with batteries, that's good. All right. Instruction manual, I'll have to spend a little bit of time with that. So it's a kind of a cool looking scale, kind of a futuristic looking design. It's got a sticker on top here with a website address. Oh, there's a QR code, so you can scan that with your phone to get, I suppose that's to download the app. Auto calibration, step on and off to see 0.0 for the scale to auto calibrate. Anytime it's physically moved or stored vertically. Okay, so if you move it or store it, you know, we don't have a ton of space in our bathroom, so my wife always likes to move the scale and it is stored vertically. So I guess when you put it back down, you'll have to auto-calibrate it by stepping on and stepping off again until you see 0.0. Now, I was going to go off and read the instruction manual, but I don't think I need the instruction manual to put the batteries in and then to scan the QR code and get the app on my phone. All right, so, oops. Oh, there we go. Oh, these little pads on the bottom flex just a little bit. That's kind of cool. And it's kind of a rubbery material, so it won't slide. Okay, the QR code was not only on this little decal that came stuck to the front of the scale, it's also on the back of the scale there. So let's give that a try. We'll scan it with my phone. And that took me right to the app where I can install it. Only took a few seconds to download, now it's installing. Terms of service, blah, blah, blah. I don't know why it keeps getting me to try to explore gyms. I'm not going to a gym. Okay, I have no idea what this stuff is. It's 22 cents. So I guess I will have to spend a little time with the instruction manual to try to figure out what this means. Okay, I scanned the QR code that's on the back of the scale. I scanned the QR code that's on the little decal that was on the front of the scale. I scanned the QR code that was in the instruction manual, and they all took me to the same thing, which was this FlexFit, which seems to be something that tracks my workout history or something. So it's not even in the manual. It says to scan the QR code to download the Eros scale app. And that QR code keeps taking me to this FlexFit app. So instead I just went to the Google Play Store and typed it in, Eros scale, and then it came up that way. So I'll install that. I don't know why the QR code that they have in their instruction manual and on the front and back of their scale takes me to an app that doesn't seem to have anything to do with the scale itself. But that appears to be what I was supposed to have installed here. Okay, so let's just go through the instructions. Step 1 is install the batteries, did that. Step 2 is download the app. A little more challenging than it needed to be, but I've done that. Step 3, sign up and set up your profile. Choose your weight units. We use pounds where I'm at. I'm going to enter my email and create a password. All right, I created an account with an email and a password. I'll put in my name. My birthday, 1990. Well, it's going to take me a while to get down to 1974. Yes, I'm 45 years old. 86, 85, 84, 83. Come on, getting there. I wish I could just type in the year or select from a drop-down. That's a lot faster. These calendars that make me scroll back 100 years to get to my birthday it's a little annoying. It's nice and easy if you're 20 years old, but if you're 40 plus, you gotta scroll back quite a bit.
A few moments later.
All right, April 25th, 1974. April 25th, everyone, if you want to send me birthday presents. My height, I think I'm 5'11". I've always been roughly around 6 feet, but that's with shoes on. It gives me an extra inch, so we'll go 5'11". I don't think I need to turn on athlete mode. I don't have a Fitbit or a Google Fit, so I'll skip that. All right, so now it looks like the app is set up properly. So I can step on the scale for the first time. All right, I guess before I step on the scale for the first time, there's a few things you can enter on the app. One is a weight goal. Now, at my height, it's saying that I should be between 138.8 and 169.8. So, and 169.8 is on the high end. So let me tell you something. Right now, I'm 208. And I do need to lose some weight. If you've been watching my channel, you know I've been releasing a lot of videos on low-carb recipes because I am trying to lose some weight. But when I was in high school, I was 185 pounds, and I was pretty in shape back then. And if I really wanted to, I think I could probably get down to about 175, and I would have very little body fat. Now, 169.8 is what they're saying is on the absolute high end. And I think if I got down to 169.8, I would have next to zero body fat. So I'm going to have to go ahead and ignore their little green area here that tells me where I should be, because I know that if I was at the super high end of that, I would be extremely thin, like very little body fat. But I'll go ahead and put in my goal as, I was going to put it at 185 because that's what I was when I was a senior in high school. But even then, I didn't have a six-pack. I was in shape. I was riding my bike a lot. I had very strong legs, but I also ate like a pig. So I didn't have a six-pack, so I could have lost a few pounds, but I was in good shape back then. So if I want to get even thinner than I was in high school, I can set this to 180. But I tell you, 169.8 on the high end is kind of ridiculous. I might be able to get down to that, but if I got down to 138.8, what they're saying here, I fear that I might die if I got down to that weight. I'd have to cut off a leg or something to get down to 139. Anyway, now that I've got a goal weight set, I suppose I could step on the scale for the first time. That's interesting. I thought I made a mistake. I set it to 180, and when I came out, it went to 179.8. So I tried to fix it. I'm at 180. I hit confirm, and it's going to 179.8. So whatever. All right, I just want to do a quick update before I go any further with this video. And I weighed myself this morning with the scale before I paired it with my phone, and I was 208 pounds, well, 208.2. And then I weighed myself after lunch. I paired it with my phone so it would give me all of the data, like the body fat composition. And it placed me firmly in the middle of the obese range. Now I'm about 6 feet tall, maybe 5'11", and I need to lose about 20, maybe 25 pounds. But seriously, obese? I mean, I need to lose some weight, but I don't think I would place myself in the middle of the obesity range. So that makes me really question the accuracy of the body fat percentage measurement. So this scale is supposed to measure quite a few things, more than just your weight. It's supposed to measure your BMI, body fat, body water, muscle mass, bone mass, and a number of other things. I was curious about how a scale can measure these types of things, so I decided to do some research. Before we get to that though, I'd like to point out a few other things I noticed after weighing myself on this scale every day for several days in a row. If I click on body fat, the app tells me that I'm right smack in the middle of the obesity range, which I find ridiculous. When I click on the button for weight, it has me in the overweight range and not in the obesity range. I'm not sure how one measurement has me overweight while the other has me firmly in the obese category. Another thing I find interesting is that it has my normal weight range between 132.2 pounds and 178.6 pounds. When I was in high school, I was 185 pounds and I was in pretty good shape. I didn't have a six-pack or anything, so I could have probably lost a little more weight. I could probably get down to 175 or maybe even 170. However, this app says that my fat-free body weight is 153.8 pounds. That means that if I had 0% body fat, I would be right smack in the middle of what they call the normal range. Now keep in mind, if you have 0% body fat, you're dead. The app also says that my muscle mass is 146 pounds. That means that if you stripped away all of my fat, my bones, my skin, organs, cartilage, everything except the meat on my body, I would still be pretty close to the middle of the normal weight range. I don't really see how that's possible, especially considering the fact that I'm not a bodybuilder. I'm not a small guy, but I also don't have huge bulging muscles either. And yet, if you take this measurement of only my muscle mass and nothing else, I would still be very close to the middle of the normal range for weight. There's no way that can be accurate. Anyway, I was curious how a scale can even measure these types of things. Your body fat percentage, your bone mass, your muscle mass, the amount of water or protein in your body, your metabolic rate. So I did a little bit of research to see how these smart scales work. And what I found is that these scales use something called bioelectrical impedance to estimate these measurements. These scales run a low level of electrical current through your body, and because electricity travels faster through water and bone than it does through fat, they're able to make estimates to come up with these measurements. When we looked at some of my numbers earlier, I suspected that there was no way some of these measurements could possibly be accurate. At the same time, I don't really have any way to test them. However, other people have tested the accuracy of these smart scales. WebMD has an interview with Cedric X. Bryant, PhD, the chief exercise physiologist with the American Council on Exercise, and he said that if he had to grade smart scales on accuracy, he would give them a grade of C+. That's not too bad, but it's not perfect either. He says that they have problems with accuracy, and one reason for that is because they're very sensitive to hydration. If you step on the scale right after taking a shower, for example, that can skew the numbers. Things like the time of day that you step on the scale or whether you've had something to eat or drink can also change the results. Consumer Reports also did some testing to see if smart scales were accurate, and they said that these scales are not as accurate as other body fat measurement methods. One of the reasons is that, as I mentioned earlier, smart scales use bioelectrical impedance to run a low level of electrical current through your body. The problem is that the current runs up from one foot up your leg, down the other leg, and out the other foot, so it's only measuring the lower half of your body. Despite the inaccuracies, many of the sources I researched don't necessarily discount these scales entirely. For example, in the WebMD interview, they said that although there may be some inaccuracies, these scales may also be good for tracking changes with a diet and exercise program. Consumer Reports said that even though smart scales aren't perfect with their calculations, they will still give you a ballpark idea of how you're doing, and they're helpful for seeing changes over time. I also found an article on cnet.com saying that studies have shown that while single measurements may fluctuate, the technology is generally acceptable for determining body composition over an extended period of time. So like I said before, I don't really have the ability to test the accuracy of these various measurements that the scale gives me. But I also feel like I don't need to because other people and organizations have already done that type of testing. So although I have a few issues with some of the measurements I'm seeing, like the body fat measurement saying that I'm firmly in the obese range, while the body weight measurement has me in the overweight range, and seeing that if you only took the meat off of my bones, I would still be in the middle of the normal range of body weight, which really doesn't make sense, I'm still going to use the scale to track my results. I'm sure that when it comes to body weight, the scale is very accurate, and when it comes to body fat percentage, it may or may not be accurate, but it will allow me to track my progress over time. I weighed myself several days in a row, and the readings were consistent, so even if it's saying that my body fat percentage is higher or lower than it actually is, the fact that the readings are consistent will allow me to track my progress over time to make sure I'm going in the right direction. So to sum things up, I don't have a problem with this scale in particular. I think that inaccuracies are just par for the course with any smart scale. If I consider the fact that no smart scale is perfect, I can give this scale a pass on some of the measurements that don't make much sense to me. Overall, I think this is a decent product, and I intend to continue using it. If you want to get one for yourself, I'll put a link in the description. And if you do get one, just keep in mind the things that the various organizations who've put these scales to the test have said. There may be inaccuracies, but they still have value for allowing you to track your progress over time. Anyway, that's it for this video. If you're considering buying a smart scale, I hope this information has helped you, and if you want to see future product reviews, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.